everybody, it's Julia Campbell, and I'm live today on Facebook, like I'm trying to do every Friday, rain or shine, just to talk to you about things I've been thinking about and hopefully add some value to your day and help you accomplish your job and do it more effectively. So, it's not raining here yet, but it's supposed to have been raining all day. It's so dark in here, I need like better lighting, but it's completely dark in this room and it's the weather. Anyway, we can't really discuss the weather. It's Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo. And I am sure that most of you will be joining me in having a margarita later. And later, I mean like in an hour. Let's be real. So, today we're going to talk about filling in your digital storytelling work plan. So, in the last few videos, we discussed setting some goals. So we're talking about digital storytelling. Really what digital storytelling is multi-channel storytelling. Getting your story, your nonprofit story, out there to as many people as possible on multiple channels, but using them strategically, right? Not just jumping on every little shiny new thing, not just doing something because your board chair says you have to do it, or because you read an article about it, or because all the other nonprofits are doing it, whatever it is. So it's very important that you really determine your plan going forward, and that's what we've been talking about. So in the first Facebook Live, I talked about goals and objectives, and just to recap really quickly, your goal is the reason why you're doing this digital storytelling. So why are you collecting these stories? Why are you sharing these stories? And why are you focusing all of this effort on using digital channels to get your stories out there? What do you hope it will accomplish for you? What do you hope it will bring at the end of the day? What will your organization look like 1 year from now if you've been successful with your digital storytelling? And we talked about some big picture goals, could be thought leadership or raised awareness or, new donors in the prospect funnel, that kind of thing. And then your objectives are more specifically ways you can break down into tasks. So they're things that are measurable and that are realistic. And then you can sort of break those objectives down into what do I need to do every single day to accomplish this objective. Okay? And I talked a lot this week on my blog and in my email newsletter about messaging. So I'm not going to harp on that anymore. Got to have a good message. None of this will work if you have terrible messaging and you don't know your audience, and I talk about that all the time, and I've talked about that in previous videos, so go check those out if you want to know more about how to build a target audience, how to target your audience, and how to create really effective and compelling messaging. So today is going to be pretty tactical. I have a freebie for you that I'm going to put in the comments. If you go to bit.ly/storytellingworkplan, all lowercase, then you will be able to download that. And my sister-in-law is on the live video. Hi, Kate. Good to see you. That's a little intimidating. I don't like that it shows you who's on because I just don't want to know. I just want to pretend I'm talking into the void. So today we'll talk about filling in the work plan. So you have your goal, you know where you're trying to go, you have your objective. So a sample goal that we could be talking about would be raising awareness. Raising awareness. We all want to raise awareness, right? What does that look like? How can we measure raised awareness? That's a tough one, but there are certain things that you can measure. There are certain metrics. So say you're using Facebook, say you're using Twitter. To measure raised awareness, you could measure an increase in the number of fans on your Facebook page, right? Now, this isn't perfect. That's a so-called, vanity metric. That certainly is not the only thing you want to measure, but it's a pretty good indication that your audience is growing if you are getting more Facebook fans week after week, month after month. You certainly don't want to be stagnant, and you don't want to be decreasing the number of Facebook fans on your page. Maybe you're not on Facebook, whatever social media you're on, right? So we're using Facebook as an example. So your sample objective, which is SMART, specific, measurable, actionable, and how do you spell SMART? Because I'm smart. R, realistic, T, time-based. So you have to have very specific objectives. If you've ever worked with me as a client, you know that I am all about measuring results. So when I started my business, I would talk with clients about vague kind of, ideas and ways to raise awareness and maybe increase thought leadership and put more donors in the donor prospect pipeline and that kind of thing. And what I found was that if we did not set benchmarks or figure out benchmarks and set smart objectives, then nothing would kind of get done. And you all know this. You've been in that meeting where there's the big whiteboard or there's the sticky page up there and everyone's writing down 10,000 ideas, and an hour later you come out of that meeting, you're like, that was an amazing meeting. And then all of a sudden nothing happens because you never actually determined who was going to do it, when it was going to be done, and how you were going to measure the success of what you did. So that's the kind of meeting I want to avoid. That's what I want to avoid with all of this, especially with my clients. But today, we'll focus on filling out the work plan. So I will not harp on how to create objectives. And a great objective that I know even small nonprofits can use would be to increase the number of fans on our Facebook page and our Twitter account by 25% in 6 months. I think that's pretty reasonable. Of course, you need to take into account in your organization how much capacity you have. So you don't want to say, we're going to double our Facebook fans in 1 month if you don't have a person dedicated to doing that. So let's just take Facebook actually and really, really break it down. So goal, raising awareness. What is one way to measure raised awareness? An increase in Facebook fans. You could also say increase in Facebook engagement, which is so much more important because that indicates that people are interested in your content and they're sharing it, they're commenting on it, they're liking it, they're interacting with it, they're clicking on the links that you provide. So engagement is a really good measure, but let's just start very simple. Increase the number of Facebook fans on our page by 25% in 6 months. And this may sound insurmountable to a lot of you, but we're going to break it down into the action steps you need to take to accomplish that objective. And in my freebie that I have for you, and I will put the link in the comments, I break down exactly how to do this and I give you some sample tasks. So right now, I just have a Word document that I can show you that's actually backwards. So that's not helpful at all. But I wanted to show you the handout that will show you the actual calendar, breaking it down into steps. So how do you increase fans on Facebook? That's kind of the million-dollar question. There are some tried and true ways to do this. Even if you're a small organization, you can do this. First, you have to post daily. You have to commit to posting one piece of content on Facebook every single day. This doesn't necessarily include Saturday and Sunday. And hi, Erin, my friend Erin just joined. It doesn't necessarily include Saturday and Sunday. If your organization does a lot of mission-related work on Saturday and Sunday, then maybe you want to. It's kind of something you might want to think about because fewer people are posting business-related content on the weekend and more people tend to be on their phone on the weekend. They tend to have free time. So posting once a week. And you could even break that task down into little tasks. Looking at Facebook Insights, looking at the back end of your Facebook page every week to determine the best time to post, to determine when most of your audience is online, okay? And I can do an entire training on how to use Facebook Insights, but just getting some kind of indication, you're some kind of finger on the pulse of your audience and when they're online and what posts resonate with them. I would kind of mix it up. I wouldn't post every day at noon because some of your audience is online in the morning and some of your audience is online in the afternoon. The most important thing is you commit to posting one time per day on Facebook. Now, what you're going to do, because remember, your objective is to increase the number of fans on your page. So, post daily. Number 2, post stories and visuals. There needs to be a visual with every single post that you post on Facebook. I don't make the rules, okay? I wish Mark Zuckerberg would answer my phone calls, but that's the only way to get traction, to get engagement. It's just proven. And we all need to kind of, get over the fact that we don't like posting visuals on Facebook, or we don't want to post photos. Those are entirely different discussions to have. How to get great photos and get great visuals. But posting daily with a visual. Posting interesting content. Okay, so the only real way to grow fans on your Facebook page is to be interesting and to offer something of value, quote unquote. Give me a reason to read this. Give me a reason to stop what I'm doing, because most people scroll. Most people are checking Facebook from a mobile device. They're scrolling down. And what's going to catch my eye? What's going to make me kind of stop what I'm doing? Now, for this one particular objective, increasing number of fans, I would encourage you for the first month, if you haven't posted daily on Facebook before, not to include any calls to action in your posts, okay? So not to say donate, don't say volunteer, don't say come to our event. You can actually, if you're doing any of those things, you can create specific Facebook ads around those. But just to increase that engagement on your page and to encourage people to be sharing your posts, you want them to look like what else they're seeing on Facebook. You want them to be a story that's compelling, that's going to make me either angry or really happy or inspired. It's going to inspire me so much that I'm going to share it. That's the goal, right? So 5 posts per week on Facebook consistently. Now, you gave yourself 6 months to increase your Facebook fans by 25%, and I think you could probably do it in less time if you're pretty consistent. Okay, so we talked about posting on Facebook daily, and I would also encourage you to do 1 Facebook Live video per month. If you can't do it weekly like me, do 1 per month. Now remember, we're talking about growing our Facebook fans. These are tried and true ways to do it. And if you do it right, and if you're interesting, and if you plan a little bit with your Facebook Live, you will get more people. You will get more views. You will definitely get more of your audience sharing it, interacting with it, which therefore will create the snowball effect of more people on your page. So we're kind of breaking this down a little bit. And the third thing that I would do is experiment with Facebook ads. So that's a whole nother, webinar. That's a whole different hour-and-a-half training that I could provide. But boost a post once per week. So $10 a week. You could even do $5, but do $10 maybe if you can, and see if you can reach that goal of the 25% increase over 6 months. Okay, so these are just some of the tasks that are required to do that. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want you to create a digital storytelling plan using all the videos that I've previously provided and all of the freebies that I've been giving out. They're all on my website actually at jcsocialmarketing.com/freebie or freebies. I don't know, I would try both. I just created the page today. But I would look at all of the different materials, but what I'm encouraging you to do is really understand the work that's required in successful digital storytelling. And this is why I really encourage you to only pick 1 goal and then maybe 2 measurable objectives with that goal, and then the little bite-sized work plan steps that go into accomplishing that objective. And this is all kind of laid out in the PDF. So another task that you could do to increase your fans and followers, I would explore encouraging your staff and volunteers, kind of your low-hanging fruit, to be interacting with the page. So, it's really difficult to sometimes to get your staff members, sometimes to get your board members to do that. But if you give them a firm plan, if you say, okay, everybody, this is the post this week that we really want to get out there. So on Wednesday, send an email to your board and say, hey, please share this Facebook post today, and provide them a link directly so that they can do it. The more specific you can be, the better. That's kind of your low-hanging fruit. So if you really do all of these things consistently, you're definitely going to see growth on your Facebook page, which will help you accomplish your objective, and then it will help you accomplish your goal of raised awareness. Okay. So just to talk through maybe another example, goal is raised awareness. Objective is increase Twitter followers by 25% in 6 months. Twitter might not necessarily be the avenue or the channel that you like for your organization, but if your goal is to become a thought leader or if your goal is raised awareness, then Twitter is a pretty good place to be. The problem with Twitter, kind of the downside, is that it does require a lot of time and effort. I don't want to say that Facebook doesn't, but Twitter is another animal. You really can't just recycle what you're using on Facebook on Twitter. So Twitter is a whole different animal. So maybe a specific task that you could create is to look into Twitter best practices. But I would say if you're really dedicated and you really want to grow your Twitter following, you have to commit to following 10 new accounts each week, if not more. These don't necessarily have to be people that follow you. You don't have to do the quid pro quo, like follow back kind of thing if you don't want to. But find accounts that are relevant to you, follow them. You have to commit to at least 5 retweets per week. And you have to commit to 5 original tweets per week. So it's a really, really quick and dirty plan for a small nonprofit that's kind of just starting out on Twitter, or a marketing director that's overwhelmed that doesn't even know where to start. If you start there, you'll get a lot more comfortable with the platform. You'll start seeing what people are sharing. You'll start seeing what hashtags they're using, what topics are really popular. And then you'll be like me, where you tweet like 30 times a day and you're completely addicted to Twitter. I personally just love Twitter. I don't know why. That's how I find most of my news, actually. But I think that just being realistic in your task list, you don't want an objective that says, we will double our website traffic in 6 months, double our email subscribers, and double our social media followers. That's ambitious, and if you have a full-time dedicated staff person, by all means. And then, of course, your tasks would be, you'd have a lot more tasks. But if you're like a lot of people that I'm sure are watching this video, a lot of my clients, they're smaller nonprofits. They have really small staffs, and that is, it's probably not realistic. Another task for raised awareness could be look into a website developer if you need to redo your website. Quick little task, maybe in 6 months, your objective could be, your measurable objective could be, we would like to redesign our entire website bottom, from the bottom to the top in 6 months. That's a really great objective. And the only way that you will increase raised awareness is by having a website that captures people, that you can send people to, that will capture their information. And I know we're getting a lot into tools today, but I did want to really encourage you to think big picture, but then really understand that there are some very specific tasks that you do need to accomplish your objectives. So I think in closing, I would just say, don't get discouraged. And before jumping really on any social media channel, on any kind of platform, you need a reason for being there. You need a strategic plan of how you're going to use it, how you're going to manage it, how you're going to fit it into your day. Your already very crowded day with lots of fires to put out, lots of things going on, phone ringing, people coming in your office, helping clients, that kind of thing. So how are you going to fit all of this in your packed schedule? So rely on your SMART objectives instead of just your big picture goals. You want to have your big picture goal in your mind, but you want to have your measurable objectives always written down in front of you, and you want to measure your progress. And maybe you see after 3 months, 25% increase on Facebook is just not going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen for various reasons, whatever's going on. Or maybe you see, hey, we should increase our objective because we're going to totally pass this in 3 months. And then maybe we do want to double our Facebook fans in 6 months. Like, maybe it is doable. So just constantly checking in with your objectives once you get your task list started to see if they are achievable or if maybe you need to step them up a little bit. Tailoring your content to your specific audience. They will tell you what they like and they will tell you what they don't like because they just won't say anything, and that's telling you what they don't like. They will tell you what they like, and you know, if you have used social media at all, you sort of know what posts work best, what gets the most engagement. It's always stories, always video. Video works best. Video works absolutely the best of any kind of social media content. So thinking about ways that you can change up your content if your Facebook page is a little bit stale. How can you change up your content to really resonate, to make it shareable? Because that's your goal, getting in front of new people and making it compelling enough that people will engage with it, because the majority of people don't ever engage. And then just continually evaluating, do you have the capacity to do all of these things with everything else, that you have to do. So make sure that you go and get my freebie. It's at bit.ly/storytelling work plan. And yeah, I think I will jump into the comments and answer any questions that you have. I would love to see you next week. And yeah, I'll put a link to that in the comments. So thank you so much for joining. I really hope that you enjoy your Cinco de Mayo and have a margarita later, or a Corona or water or whatever you have. And I will see you next week. Thank you.